Previously on Wreckers the Checkers.
Look at the gaping hole in that thing.
It actually turns out I've got a very good one here.
I might stand corrected. Dude, what the?
Broken.
How?
One-way trip to Indonesia.
Oh man. You got, dude, you're barely even started. What's the plan? I think you know what needs to happen.
Hey Jenna, I could use a hand. Can you help me out?
Yeah, right.
So, I've got my second hand. Day 2, the plan. You can tell we're not as far ahead as everyone else. However, best thing, I'm gonna get you to wash the bike, which I don't enjoy doing.
Nice, okay.
Rip the engine out, rip the swing arm out, rip the forks out. Swing arm's coming out, enables us to check and see if any linkages or bearings or anything needs to be replaced. Again, lets us polish it back up and get it back to better than showroom condition, just like the factory bikes. Forks.
Yeah, they're a bit pitted and yucky.
So I rip the forks out, we get them sent off, recoated. I don't know if you guys can see, but being an 08, there is a bit of pitting. So replace the fork seals and then also get the outers recoated. While the forks are out, send off the triple clamps, get it polished up. We'll actually probably get them anodized, a nice red to match with the wheels that I'd like to get. We'll have to check the budget for that first, but yeah, all the factory bikes did run like a red hub with a silver rim. The path is either going to be, we're going to go down the way of getting our rims. The rear rim needs to be replaced, so the options are going to be a wheel set, or we're going to relace the rear wheel. While we're relacing, we'll then get the hubs sent away and get them anodized red to match the triple clamp and all the other cool trick bits, just like the factory bikes do. So yeah, that's the plan so far. But first of all, I need you to wash the bike.
Can't believe Nige used his phone a friend to ring me and say, can you help me wash my bike? Amongst other things, I'm sure, but talk about a stitch up. But this is going to be good.
Andrew short on the 29. Oh man, on the Supercross.
Shorty, it's awesome to have you, man. How's Texas treating you?
Yeah, it's doing good. It's summertime here. It's starting to rain, so riding's been awesome, and just washing up bikes. I'm headed to Kazakhstan tomorrow for a rally, and so it's a good time of year for me because it seems like racing's starting to happen around the world, and I'm stoked for that. And it's pretty cool what you guys have going on. You've explained a little bit. It's amazing to find a bike like this. This is a great bike, whether you ride off-road or moto, and I have great memories with this bike.
Tell us a little bit about your history with Honda. I mean, we grew up racing each other, and I remember you getting that call up to ride for factory HRC and then developing that 250F. Could you kind of take us in a quick snapshot of your journey through your Honda tenureship?
Yeah, I rode there for 6 years and started in 2005. I stopped in 2010. Briefly rode a factory Honda again in 2012. But this bike, I was really fortunate to, it was the last of this generation, so I benefited a lot from a lot of people testing with this bike, and it was the last carbureted Honda. And so I was really fortunate to hop on a bike that was fully developed. The factory team did a lot of crazy stuff to this bike. Like they would patch the swing arm and run different frame hangers and do a lot of crazy stuff to this bike. And now that I ride for Yamaha, I can laugh because I love Yamaha and everything about it. But this bike was much better than the Yamaha because the Yamaha would bog on on-offs and Supercross. So this Honda had a big advantage compared to the Yamaha, which was the big competitor with Chad Reed. And it was a great bike. And also I rode a factory one, obviously, and it was the last of the works bikes coming from Honda. After this, they built them out of parts. And also every year I would get a stock bike. And so this was one of the bikes. I had a stock bike. And so I've ridden this bike in the stock platform quite a bit. And it's a great bike and one that people still talk about to this day.
Yeah, that's incredible. I know the works bike situation, you can kind of get lost, as we know, being test riders and developing bikes, you're, very critical in those processes with multiple OEMs and teams. With this platform being so good, do you feel that it kind of introduced a whole new generation to how frames and geometry were built as in the, the 6061 alloy construction? Yeah,
and I think, a lot of people would use CompuTrack or different systems to measure. And this was the baseline for a lot of manufacturers in terms of the numbers. Later on, I think it was the Suzuki 450. It seemed like it kind of transitioned to there after this one. But at the time, this was a great platform and really kind of a step above the rest. So, and still to this day, it's a rad bike. I can't believe you guys found one. And, you only have to do a few things to this thing and that thing will be a lot of fun to ride. And it's really durable. Also, I feel like after this, Honda really concentrated on weight. And because of this, durability went away. And this bike was known for, it's still kind of the similar base for a 450X. And people still ride this in Mexico. It's because it's durable and it will just go and the motor's like a tractor. So this bike is a great bike and something that you can enjoy forever. It's like I have a YZ125 behind me and it's more or less a 20-year-old bike and it's still rad to ride, and this is essentially what you guys are doing. And I love this bike because I can go ride it with my kid and enjoy, different, I can go to the moto track, I can go ride trails, whatever. And this bike's going to be able to do the same.
Well, on that note, Nigel, these boys are big fans, as myself, even though, you handed my ass to me every time I raced you as a professional. But Nigel as a builder here, he wanted to ask you a few questions about what he should do to improve this bike for the consumer. So go ahead, Nigel.
Hey, Shorty, nice to meet you. At the moment, we've literally just started to tear it down. What sort of tweaks are you talking about? Is there anything you would recommend to do?
Yeah, I think obviously on this style Honda generation, you would always tweak the handlebar mount, the stem that would go in, it would always get bent. And that's one thing I remember, like on my stock bike, I would put the PC, the Pro Circuit one on or a Works one, but there's many different companies that make this. That was one thing. It's not a matter of if, it's when, And I also remember the front brake being a little weak and the Works Honda brakes were so good that I would always want to put a big brake on the stock bike to try to compensate. And so sometimes I would go to a 280 or a 270. They're pretty well jetted stock. And then to save weight, the exhaust. I think this is another thing performance-wise. Back then, we were running Yosh. And it seems like this style generation four-strokes, they really benefited from good fuel. Those are some of the things that I would do. If it was my bike and the rest, I would just run it, try to keep it, maintain fresh fluid and enjoy the beast.
Yeah, Andrew, that's epic feedback because we have a budget here of $6,000 from the bike to the finished build. And to keep it in the Shorty replica form, I think, like you said, looking at the clamps here now, it's got honestly that current KTM clamp that everyone doesn't like, that twists, right? So like you say, maybe go to the Pro Circuit style clamp that doesn't allow the bars to twist. We have stock exhaust, so maybe I'll hit up Big E, see if we can get a Yosh pipe for this thing. And then, brake. We'll take some notes, man. This is. We already
discussed this.
Yeah.
Brake was, I remember, even from like a 2010, the standard front brake is not very crash hot. So yeah, we'll look at getting a bigger rotor, a bigger disc on the front, and upgrading.
Yeah, man. Well, Shorty, man, I can't thank you enough for your time and knowledge. I couldn't think of a better person to, you're very in tune with what you know and your journey. You didn't just race, you were a enthusiast and, almost an engineer brain. So, you know, over the years we got to do a lot of riding, a lot of testing, a lot of battling as you came by to lap me many of the times. But
I think we got a lot because we were similar in speed, and this is why me and you were like always smashing each other. It's like who wanted it work. Sometimes ego, when you're young and dumb, you know, gets carried too far. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and much love to you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm stoked to see you guys having fun on dirt bikes.
Thanks, Shorty, and good luck in Kazakhstan, and be safe out there. And yeah, let's make sure you beat every Australian there.
Standard fine, but I'm a big Toby fan, so
yeah.
I don't really.
One last question for you, Shorty. One last question for you. What would you pick out of the 3 bikes if you got to ride? Like, if you got to pick one, what would you pick? The CRF, the RM, or the KX? Just from pure standard platform.
Performance-wise, I would go with the Honda. That thing's a clear advantage. For smiles and to have fun, I would pick the RM250. I feel like durability is not very good on the RM250 either because the frame's going to stretch, but who cares? It's going to be super fun, and you can rebuild it super cheap with the top end and everything. But performance-wise, the Honda is definitely the best. And honestly, I feel bad for you with the KX. I hope this makes you happy, but I think, yeah, I'm sorry.
I appreciate your honest feedback, man. I'll come from the bottom to the top.
Yep.
Right on, Shorty. Tell Jackie and the kids we said hi, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll keep you updated how the build goes.
Right on. See you guys.
See ya.
See you, Shorty. Thank you.
I feel bad for you with the KX. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I appreciate it.
All right, so we've got the motor out. We've torn it down, pulled the cylinder and the head off. What we've found is quite interesting, actually. So come over here and check it out. On the bottom of the piston here, there's a major hairline crack throwing through here. The bottom of the skirt could drop off at any time. So when Mike was giving it a bit of a test ride in the car park, this thing could have locked up at any time. So perfect time for us to pull it down and check it out. So what we're going to do, we'll throw a new piston or new top end in it, and we'll get this this sleeve looked at. Potentially might need a re-sleeve, or we may get away with rehoning it. So we'll take it over to Raceline, get their opinion, and we'll go from there. So now that we've got the top end off, perfect time to check the bottom end. So we can simply check this by giving the rod. There will be a bit of side-to-side movement, which you can see there, but up and down, there shouldn't be any sort of movement whatsoever, and there is nothing at all. So we've got a bit of a winner there. The bottom end seems to be okay. So side-to-side's okay, but up and down, we won't want any movement whatsoever. So seems pretty good. All right, so we just got our parts from the showroom here at MXstore. It's time to give Sean at Raceline a call to use the phone a friend and see what he can do for us. So let's give it a crack. Hey Sean, it's Dylan from MXstore, mate. How you doing?
Hey, good mate, how are you?
Good mate, good. Mate, I've got a favour to ask you. I've got a KX250 2003 model, mate. It's in a pretty bad state, mate. Just wondering if we can pop over at some stage and you'll be able to help us out.
Yeah, definitely. Swing on by and we'll see what we can do for you.
Sean's one of my buddies. I used to actually work with him about 4 or 5 years ago now. We both did our apprenticeships at the same time. So him and I go way back, so he's going to help us out.
Hey guys, Sean here from Raceline Performance. We're just based here on the Gold Coast in Burleigh Heads. A bit of a rundown of what we do and take care of day to day is engine packages, suspension packages, from your race engine all the way down to your basic servicing. We do anything. We love working on race bikes, but we'll help the trail rider out as well. We are a WP suspension dealer as well, and we focus really heavily on the WP suspension. We actually support the Pro MX series by taking our Raceline trackside support vehicle to there and offering support to privateers and anyone in need. So we're looking forward to helping out MXstore with this Wreckers to Checkers build. And don't forget, if you need anything, stop by Raceline Performance, ask for me, Sean, or Aiden upstairs, and we'll be more than happy to help you out.
Hey Hey guys, so about to give this big girl a nice little bath, and we've got some goodies in the bucket here, so we'll just take you through what we're going to hit it with. So some Ballard's scrubbing brushes, so get into all those hard to reach places on the engine and the cases and everything like that. We got another 3-piece brush set, so you got your 3 different types of brushes, your brass and then smaller ones at the end. Yeah, again, just get into all those hard to reach places. Down on the fork tubes, there's oil, there's grease, there's all sorts of stuff on the hubs. We'll get in there. Now important, exhaust bung, we don't want any water getting down into the engine, so we'll chuck that one in as well. These ones are my favorite. Head to your local tool shop, Total Tools. They're a nice coarse pad, SOS pad sort of thing. Clean all your cases, that'll sort of bring it up to a nice finish, good enough finish anyway. So they're a good one, they're cheap as chips. Another cheap one, go to Coles, just some soap steel wool pads. Again, that'll clean up all your aluminium finishes. They're an awesome one to have in the shed at all times. They're actually a really sick one to have for boots and cleaning scuff marks off your plastics and graphics. Cool little one we got here is a Spander sponge from Markop. Haven't used one of these yet. We'll see what happens here. We'll chuck him in some water and we'll get that one going. Luckily enough, we got some Moto Wash. So we'll give the big girl a spray down with that over everything first and hopefully lift some of the dirt and grime over the many years. And yeah, last but not least, in the little sprayer bottle here, we got some Blitz aluminium spray. So we'll give the engine and everything a good going over with that. That's in stock here at MXstore. It's a really, really good product for cleaning up all your aluminium, all your engine cases, your hubs and all that sort of stuff. Pretty much everything here apart from the maroon pads and the soap steely pads, everything here as you can see is here at MXstore. The base and the start point of your build should be getting things nice and clean, and then away you go from there.
Alright guys, last piece of the puzzle I think for the RM250 teardown. So we've got a bit of a seized bolt, and that is in the top subframe, rounded and seized, so yay. So I'm going to chuck some safety glasses on, I'm going to grab the grinder, I'm going to have a good time, so here we go. No longer blocking.
So as you can see, a bit going on down here, completely framed the bike, and where I'm going to go next with this is I'm going to get it home. I've got a little spray booth set up at home, so I'm going to give everything a good clean, wire brush, a bit of paint strip, probably sand it back as well, and yeah, give it a couple of good coats of primer and then hit it with a nice gloss black. The next part that we're going to get into is we're going to get the engine and suspension, so the fork, shock and the whole motor is going to go up to Dan up at MXRP, up the Sunshine Coast. All parts available here at MXstore. We're going to supply Dan with everything that he needs. And then last but not least, myself, I'll go through all the little bits and pieces. Got the triple clamps here, we'll give them a nice clean up. We'll get rid of all the casting masks all around the edges, give them a nice smooth finish, give them a clean up. We'll go through all the other bolts, anything that we can salvage for this build. We'll give the linkages, get rid of the casting masks on that as well, give that all nice clean factory finish. And hopefully once we're going back together, we'll have a bit of a cleaner look to the RM250 than what it first came to us with. Really looking forward to the next steps in the project here, because yeah, now the real fun begins. We get to bring the frame back up, get everything back on the bike all nice and clean, new bolts, new bearings, all the fun things that really bring these secondhand bikes back to life. Yeah, really looking forward to showing you guys the next steps to where we're headed with this project. We're here with the man Dan. Made the phone a friend call.
We'll get Charlie to give him a bit of love and get him sorted for us.
You're on your way back from Indonesia.
Yeah, I'm on my way back.